This conference will now be recorded.
All right. We are here. Welcome back. Let me share my screen and then I'm going to share the Logos application. Actually, I'm going to share the right monitor. Why don't I do that? That way, if I put up a web browser, we'll be able to see that too. That should work. All right. Carl has suggested either Micah 2:11 or John 8. We can do both of those. All right. Well, good to have you here tonight. We're going to do tonight, which is the 14th, also the 21st and the 28th. So those are our final 3 Tuesday evenings to have free before the end of the year. Obviously, after January, our Tuesdays get busy with Through the Bible. So in any event, let's, I guess I can start with, Bill has some questions, but if I hold off on his, he wanted to know, should I download all my library? And the answer is yes. And when you do the Logos installation on desktop, it's going to automatically do that. Now, if you're just using a phone app or a tablet or one of the other apps, then you don't want to download the whole library. You only want to download the the books that you want to be able to read offline. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. If any questions on that? So if you're using the app on an iPad or a phone, then I don't know what the capacity of your tablet is, or you can fill it up pretty quickly, I think, if you try to put your whole library on it. Then again, maybe not. Maybe you got enough memory in your iPad and you can just want to fill it up with Logos stuff. That's great. So that's entirely a matter of your personal preference on the apps. But on the desktop program for Windows or for Mac, anytime you have the desktop program installed, you will have a local copy of all your resources. So that's going to happen automatically. And then he wanted to know, can I transfer my library, and such as to a son or daughter once I'm not able to use it? The answer there is also yes, that these are fully transferable. If you want to leave it to your heirs, to your your grandchildren, or you find a young man that's going to be a pastor someday and you want to bequeath it to him. Essentially what you do is you call Logos and talk to their customer service, and they will handle that themselves. So that's just a matter of a phone call. And then how to copy verses. That's a great question. So let's do that one. Because it's very useful. Let's say you're doing a study, you're looking at John 8:31, and you want to put that in your notes, right? And I'm gonna get this thing running here too. All right. So you can several ways you can do this. I know, Ed, you don't want to know 4 ways to do anything. You just want 1 way, but I'm going to give you 3 or 4 ways because there are so many ways to do it. But you can just simply highlight, cut and paste like you do in any Control-C, Control-V. That's kind of standard for Windows anyway. I think in Mac it's probably Command-C, Command-V. But that's just your basic cut and paste. And so you do a Control-C to cut, and then you come over here and you do a Control-V to paste. Now you're going to notice how that came out there. That came out with a bunch of formatting. It came out with a tab. In fact, let me turn on all the invisible things there. So you got a tab and a boldface 31 and another tab, and then the words. That's how it pasted. That's the default of how it pasted, okay? And some of that is determined by your settings, your program settings. When you come here to your program settings and you kind of, where is it? Here, copy citations. Now I selected no. If I want to copy the citations, let me show you what this does. Again, Control-C, and now a Control-V. Oh, that's not good. Copy. All right. So now it did the same thing. It pasted, but then you'll notice it put a footnote 1 in there. And footnote 1 tells you New American Standard Bible 1995 update, gives you all of the bibliographic information, okay? And you may need that. If you're writing term papers, if you're writing a thesis, if your college requires it, then that may be a huge feature for you, and you're going to definitely want to have copy citations on, okay? I tend to have copy citations off, and that's my preference.
You can even choose the style, can't you?
And yes, you have all of these styles. So maybe your school requires the Chicago Manual of Style, or the Christian Writers Manual of Style, or Harvard, or MLA. I mean, you've got a dozen or more different styles, the SBL Handbook of Style, both first edition and second edition. My guess is whatever school you're a part of, one of these styles is going to be sufficient.
Yeah. So you can use that for just writing a regular term paper, has nothing to do with the Bible.
Oh, totally. Yeah, totally. That would be a very useful feature for you, because remember, everything can be cut and pasted, not just your Bible, your encyclopedia, your dictionary, all kinds of things you can cut and paste.
You can type, or you can,
Right.
you can.
Yep. So that's with Control C, Control V. Now there's a few other options as well. I'm going to leave my citations off. There's also options to copy footnotes, yes or no. And that would be important if you're copying from a text that has footnotes and you want to include the footnotes that you're copying. Again, that's just a matter of preference. I guess I probably should have that on. All right. So those are the program settings. Now, other ways to copy. In the context menu, when you right-click a verse and you have it on selection, or you can have it on reference, you got copy options over here on the right. Styled, lines, text only, and more. Okay. There are just so many different options on this. And they've tweaked this since the last update. So or a few updates back, and I have not fully explored how to do this. What I do like though is under tools, there is a copy Bible verses utility. And I use it so often, even though you have to scroll way down here to find it. There it is, copy Bible verses. You can either pin it to the top, or you can make a toolbar shortcut, which is what I've done. I've got my toolbar shortcut right up there, copy Bible verses. So when you click on copy Bible verses, either way, either from the toolbar here, there it is, didn't see it there. The problem when you pin things to the top is I have 18 things now pinned to the top. So sometimes I don't see one of those 18 things pinned to the top, but it doesn't matter. If you click it there, or you scroll down there and click it, or you have it on your toolbar and you click it from there, they're all going to open up the same thing. Now, this is actually very useful. This will remember your last saved preference. So if you only want to copy the Bible text only, you can copy only the Bible text, okay? Or you can copy it fully formatted, or you can copy one verse per line, or you can copy it as a quotation bubble, right? Simple paragraphs, Bible text only. These are the different options here, or you can even custom create your own style if you have your own preferred style for Bible copying and pasting. So my default is the Bible text only. And then that way, if I'm copying the Bible text only from the New American Standard to Microsoft Word, I can click the copy button, or I can click the copy and paste button, and it will go ahead and do it for me. So that when I switch back to Microsoft Word, I'm going to find there's John 8:31, Bible text only, NASB 95 to Microsoft Word, okay? And I need to clear that way I know what I'm doing here. All right, copy and paste. Now watch this. Did it work? Yep, there it is. And you'll see what pasted there. It didn't say John 8, didn't say John 8:31, didn't have any of that formatting, doesn't give you the verse number. All it shows you is the verse itself, copying just the words. If you want to have it fully formatted, just select that option. Again, copy and paste. And now you have it here where it's John 8:31, NASB 95. You even get your pericope heading there from the publisher. And then you get verse 31. This is fully formatted. Letters of Christ in red. I mean, everything fully formatted there. So you may prefer that. I just encourage you to kind of explore these different options here. See, you know, which looks best for you, and whatever you're comfortable with. I'm going to put mine back on my default there, but that's copy verses, and it's a very useful utility. So useful, in fact, that it's worth having a button on your toolbar just to open it up like that. Okay, so those were Bill's questions.
Well, at least Bill will be able to go back and look at the video.
Right. I also had some follow-up discussion with him if he does sign up later, or if he watches this video and then hears this. I have called Logos a couple of times since last week about his license, and he should be good now to upgrade to Logos 9. If he has any problems with that, he can give me a call, or he can call Logos for that tech support.
Where does Bill live?
Outside of Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
All right. So now Carl asked, would it be possible if I did a word study and just demonstrate how are the word studies done? And I'm happy to do that. In fact, that's a marvelous idea. And so he had recommended either Micah 2:11 or John 8, because we had done John 8 with a recent study on abiding in the Word. So let's start with John 8. And remember, any word study that you do, you're going to want to do it on the lemma. That's really the starting point for the word study, right? So in John 8:31 and 32, you want to start with a lemma, and let me just kind of show some of the differences here. So you mentioned about gnosko, you will know the truth will make you free. So if you right click on the word know, and you'll notice right here I've got the reference selected because that was the last thing I had selected. I'm going to change it down here to the lemma, and I think it's worthwhile.
I got a question. I never heard that word in any of my classes. I really don't know what a lemma is.
A lemma is the dictionary form of the word. The lemma is the vocabulary form of the word that you memorize when you're memorizing a vocabulary list. All right. So like with gnosko, you know, you memorize the inflections, you learn the paradigms, you know, like the morphology table for gnosko, you know that it's gnosko, gnoskes, gnoske, gnoskamen, gnosketa, gnoskusen, right? You know all 6 forms for the present active indicative of gnosko, but you don't look up any of those forms in your standard dictionary. You're only looking up the first person singular. You're only looking up the gnosko. That's where you're going to find it. So it's like the dictionary entry form is called the lemma.
For some reason, we never used that definition. Or else I was sleeping during that class.
No, I'm not surprised, because yeah, it was new to me when I first started finding it in Logos. I was like, why are they using lemma? What's lemma about? And yeah, I never had a Greek or a Hebrew class that used the word lemma.
Yeah, I get that confused with a root.
Our logistics, I mean, not logistics, but our linguistics class. But anyway, the definition is a dictionary entry. It's also a subsidiary or intermediate theorem of an argument or proof for mathematics. And I remember using that way,
Okay.
but as a dictionary heading. So I got you.
Yeah.
But it's not the same.
A little furry animal, right? Oh wait, that's a lemon.
No, that's right.
Lemming.
Yeah, lemming or lemur. Carl, did you have a question too about lemmas?
Yeah, so, but the lemma and the root are not the same. That's different.
Correct. The lemma and the root are different concepts. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, is it always a different concept, or could it be that the lemma, I would think the lemma should be the root.
Well, no, because the root, okay, I'll show that. I'll show that too.
Okay.
So, and I think it's worthwhile. And so right now I still have this up, and you'll notice when I clicked on the word no, the selection is the English word no. And if I left click on the top line here for the selection, that's the English word no. And in the right column, these are all my options for things that I can do with the English word no. All right. Below that is the reference. And so this is how it doesn't matter if you want to select a reference like John 8:31 or John 8:32. You really only have to right click any word. It doesn't really matter if you click Jesus or saying or Jews or believed, any of those words doesn't matter, because if you come down here then and select the reference, then you're dealing with that verse, John 8:31 or John 8:32. So that's the difference up top here between the selection and the reference. And if you and again, the options on the right, this menu is going to be totally rewritten depending on which item on the left that you have highlighted. So these are the things you can do with a Bible reference. Okay, a Bible reference, for example, you can do an exegetical guide, you can do a passage guide, you can do all sorts of things with a Bible reference that you're not going to do with a selection or with a lemma or with a root or with a manuscript form. Okay, so the top one is the selection, the second one is the reference, the third one now, when we get down below that line, now we're starting to get into the original languages that's underneath that word. So underneath the word no is the manuscript reading of Gnosta. And these icons are going to be very consistent throughout the program. So if you forget what that icon there means, you're going to see it. You're going to see it over here on the right. It's going to say manuscript Gnosesta. Gnosesta. And if you're wondering what Gnosesta is, you can sneak a peek here at the morphology and it'll tell you. It's a verb, future, middle, indicative, second person plural, right? But I'm getting ahead of myself. We have manuscript, lemma, root, morphology. And all of those things, notice when I click this caret here, it collapses and it expands. If I have it collapsed, then you just have the original languages there and then this other stuff on down beneath. But if you expand it, you get quite a bit that's tagged in there. And you pretty much want to leave it expanded at all times. I don't really know any reason why you would ever want to collapse it and leave it collapsed. But that's, I guess some people do.
Bob, do we have this on our version, or do you have it because we got it on our version?
I suspect you have it in your version as well. So,
I haven't found it.
Okay, so Carl, are you following along, or when you right click the word no, what do you have underneath selection and reference?
I've got the verb, that little pull down expansion thing. Then below that I think that's the lemma, the little circle.
Right.
Then below that I have like that square root.
Good.
Then below that the at
Okay.
sign.
Excellent.
And then below that the less than, greater than, Strong's Greek number 1097.
Cool.
Then below that, another less than, greater than, Luanida.
Excellent.
And then below that, Jews person. And then below that, Jews questioning about freedom person.
Okay, so the one you don't have there,
and that's kind of the end of that.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. Thank you. So the one you don't have there is the sense.
Right. I don't have that. No, I don't have that one.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, that makes sense because I don't have that sense lexicon.
Right.
Yeah.
So as soon as we get you, find a way to get that unlocked, then sense lexicon, Bible sense
I
adding.
got my notes here. I'm building a set of notes on stuff I gotta get. Senses.
And Ed, are you looking at your program also?
Well, I'm looking on my iPad because that's what I like to bring to church. But I just opened up my laptop. I
Uh-huh.
can't look. I can't look on my desktop because I'm following you on. I mean, I guess I could, but I'm following you on GoToMeeting. But I'm gonna look right here on my desktop.
All righty.
So if he's got it, I've got it. I just got to figure out how to get it.
Right.
I don't have it on the iPad, or I don't have it where I see it on the iPad. It may be there.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. The word studies are a little bit different, and then the context menus are a little bit different. So if we have time tonight, we can look at some of those.
Well,
All right.
I'll bring it with me. Yeah.
Yeah. You and I can look at that in the morning. So yeah, the manuscript of Gnosis, you probably won't use a whole lot of that, and you have a very limited number of options you can do with it anyway, as far as your searching goes and looking it up. But below that is the lemma, and that's really where you're going to do your word studies. Okay, so this is gnosko, to know or to understand, and then you come over here to the right. You can either open up gnosko in your fact book, or you can do a word study. You can even have it pronounced for you.
Gnosko.
Or you can, did you all hear that? Did that come through?
Yeah, it came through.
Okay. All right, so this is how you open up your word study. There you go. Now this word study panel, or this word study window, has a lot of these individual panels. 11, like a dozen of them or more. And you will have more or less, depending. In fact, you're not going to have the Bible Sense lexicon, so you probably don't have that one available to you. Up here where you can add, that's a good item to click just to see some of the things that you can add. Translation, Septuagint translation, but see, I got most of these already selected. And then you can also drag them. So if you prefer to have them in a different order, if you, and I've got this pretty well customized based on the ones that I use most frequently near the top. But if you find that there's, there's a different order and you want to, it's something you never use, just minimize it, collapse it. All right. Something else you can do too, every single one of these panels is also able to be opened. So if you don't want to do a complete word study, if all you want to do is just a lemma window, you can do that. And that'll give you a listing of all your lexicons and your morphology charts when you have the morphology add in. You can open up just a translation panel. You can open up any one of these can be opened. You can open up just a root panel all by itself. So here's the difference between the root and the lemma. And with Gnosko, it just so happens that it's both, that Gnosko is not only the lemma, but it's also the root for the family. And you see this here. So Gnosko is the root word, and all these other terms come from that root, including, of course, the word itself will always be in the root. But then epignosko, anagnosko, gnosis, norizo, agnoeo. And not only do you have the Greek on the left, but you have the transliterated column there in the center, so that helps you as well. If you need help pronouncing it,
Gnosko.
Any one of these is clickable.
Anagnosko.
So that's helpful.
Gnosis.
And then If there's more, there'll be a more button. Gnosko is a pretty large family. All right. And so the root, the square root symbol tells you it's a root. And you can search for the root as well as searching for any of these particular words as well. So that might be of use to you as well. For example, if you just right click the lemma, and then you come over here and you search the Bible for that lemma, you're going to get 221 results in 205 verses. Okay, and there's your search results, and that shouldn't surprise us because when we were looking at this, we saw Gnosko, and there it is, 221. So we were kind of expecting that's how many that there were going to be. And remember, these are not sound indicators. They look like sound indicators. These are graphs that show you, these are the charts that show you the counts per chapter, the counts per book. You realize John and 1 John are your Gnosko. I guess John and then Luke and 1 John. Anyway, those charts are helpful sometimes. So yeah, you were expecting 221. The most of, and this list is populated by frequency, so the higher numbers are at the top. There's more Gnoskos than anything else, and then Epignosko has 44, and Anagnosko has 32. And you can kind of see those numbers there going down that column. Now notice what happens though, if I come over here, and again, I right-click the word no, but if I change it from the lemma to the root, and now I want to search the Bible for that root. Now look what it gives me. It gives me 447 results, because it's not only is it giving me my search results for Gnosko, but it's actually giving me the search results for every word in this list, all 447 of the places in the New Testament that have Gnosko as its root. So that's how you can search by root, you can search by lemma, you can search by morphology. All right, let me show you again. You wanted to know about lemma, you want to know about root. You also wanted to know, let me close these searches out here. Manuscript form. Okay, this manuscript form, if you do want to search for it just all by itself, you can. So you can search the Bible, and you're going to find the 5 times that that comes up, specifically because you were only searching for the Gnosesta. You were only searching for that future I forget what the morphology was. Future middle indicative second person plural. Okay. Does that make sense?
So you can search specific morphology?
Yep. So for example, it might be useful to know, so like, let me put it back on lemma again. When you have the lemma highlighted.
Where did you see that future active indicative purpose? You just said
Okay.
something.
Yeah.
Where was that?
So if I just leave the mouse hovering over the word no, and then I glance to the bottom of the Bible window, you see it, there's a little pop-up there. It tells you Gnosko, verb, future middle indicative, second person plural. It tells you Strong's number and Louw-Nida number. Okay. And that's the tooltip. That's the tooltip that pops up when you just hover the mouse.
All right. Yeah, sorry to cut you off. I was trying to look all over the screen. I'm like, where is he reading that? So,
right.
Okay, thank you.
No, not a problem. In fact, you can also read it by clicking the word no, and you're going to see it right here. Again, you see the manuscript form. You're going to see the lemma. You're going to see the morphology, verb, future, middle indicative, second person plural. You're going to see the Strong's number. So that's another way to look for it. Yeah. You can also right-click the word, and down here under morphology, the @ symbol is your morphology symbol, And that there also tells you, same thing, it's a verb, future, middle indicative, second person plural. And once you do enough of these, you'll kind of learn the code. You'll learn the syntax for the programming. It's VFM2P, but it's for future, middle indicative, second person plural. Now, coming back to the lemma, over here on the right, I've been doing these searches in the Bible, okay? Those are the ones I've used frequently, or tonight, for you guys here tonight. But there's another option here, which is right below there. And that has gnosko with the @ symbol, and it actually adds the morphology in there, okay? So maybe you don't want to know every gnosko, you just want to know the gnoskos that match this particular morphology. That's where you would select that. And it comes up with your 5 results that we had searched for earlier. But the neat thing about doing it this way, and I should probably open these too so you can see these. We were looking at these last week.
Yeah, now, we didn't have this, though.
Correct.
This is, yeah, okay.
Yeah. But just for illustration purposes, this is going to show you everywhere in the New Testament. I probably need to make it smaller. So here's the future, middle, second person plural. This is the one we're looking at tonight, gnosesta, okay? But that's just one tiny little fraction of all of the uses of gnosko. This is why really you want to search for the lemma almost every time, unless you're very specifically trying to drill down into something particular in the grammar itself, okay? So let me show you why that becomes useful. Am I losing you, Carl? I just want you to see all of this variety here.
No, I'm tracking. Yeah, I'm good. I have it
So,
on mute just in case there's background noise or something.
gotcha. So you're actually searching for all of this when you're searching for the lemma, okay? Now, but here's the benefit to doing a search like this. You come up here with no, and you search there for the morphology. So now you've just executed a morphological search where your lemma is gnosko and the morphology is the the future, middle, second person plural. Now, what's really neat is once you get that search done, you can come back up here and click in that search window just to the right of the query. And it gives you all of these options for what you just searched, and now you can refine it some. So you're looking at the verb, future, middle, indicative, second person plural. Let's just say, you know what? I don't care if it's second person plural, so I'll unselect those. All I want is I want to know verb, future, middle, indicative. Okay, and then click the arrow. All right, there's 13 of those. Or if you decide, you know what, it doesn't need to be indicative. Let's look at all my future middles. Okay, same 13 results. Well, I don't really need the middle voice. Let's just look at all of my futures, all of the future voice, whether it's active, middle, or passive. Wow, now we're up to 17 results. Okay, so I mean, you can customize so much of this. Let's say maybe it doesn't need to be future, but I do want to look at gnosko. I want to look at the imperatives of gnosko. Where are the imperatives of gnosko? Now I've got 20 of those, okay? And so really helping to, to search by tense, voice, mood, person, number, case, gender, all of these are customizable and allow you to search for all of these. And you'll notice all of these searches are being done in the New American Standard Bible. We haven't even opened the Greek Bible yet because the Greek Bible is actually embedded inside the New American Standard Bible. All right. Now you can do the same thing if you really want to. You can do the same thing. you can come over here to Gnosesta. Again, you can right click it, you can select the lemma, and you can do a search, same way. You can do a search through your Bible. If you want to search, now this is searching the Greek Bible, but it's giving you the same results that you were getting when you were searching the New American Standard. Does that make sense? Did I lose you on that? So you can
No,
search either
I'm
one.
following.
Okay,
Yeah. I
good,
don't
good.
think I have a Greek Bible though.
I believe you
Oh, you
do.
got it, Paul. Yeah,
I
you
do?
got it. Mhm.
So if you Greek New Testament, I'm betting you do. If you,
Oh, yeah, the Greek New Testament SBL edition.
there you go.
Okay. Okay. I got a lot of windows open. I have to click between my Logos and the go-to meeting because I'm on a laptop.
Right.
So I have to go back and forth. Yeah, so
Yeah, there's the Greek New Testament SBL edition.
yeah, so now I got, ooh, that's too many. I got 4 open for some reason. Close that. Okay, now I got 2. Except that the Greek looks all Greek to me, so I don't, let's see, what am I clicking on? So like you just went right to the word no and was able to click on it.
Right. Yeah, and that you kind of got to know the language to do that.
Yeah.
But you'll notice it's the Logos will highlight it red just simply because you have your word study window that's open to Gnosko. So that can be a help too.
So I have the lemma open.
Mm-hmm.
So on the left-hand side, I have the lemma with the little circle kind of pie thing.
Mm-hmm.
On the right-hand side, I have the NASB 95 with the 2, okay, with the Greek Bible and the NASB and the English Bible. But no is highlighted in the NASB, but I don't see anything highlighted in the Greek. So you're saying it because I'm doing a Bible word study on no, there should be something highlighted in the Greek as well?
If you're doing a Bible word study on Gnosko, not on no, but on Gnosko.
Oh, okay, that's where I messed up. Yeah, so lemma VFM I2P, so that's the verb, future, is it middle indicative, second?
Yeah, second masculine plural. But you don't really have to do that one. Just go above there and click on Bible, and that will search it for you. Are you trying to search for the lemma, or just open up the word study on the lemma?
I'm just trying to get it to highlight on both in the Greek and in the NASB.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so I'm trying to follow. It's kind of tough for me to click back and forth as I have one screen. So trying to follow what you're doing, I feel like I take a risk when I click over to Logos and then I lose what you're doing.
Right.
So it's kind of a gamble with if I off click and try to do something in Logos and then I'm missing out on what you're. But yeah, so I right clicked on the word. Let me close all this. So I right clicked on the word, the English word no,
Okay.
and
And then
then
highlight the lemma in the left-hand column, the Gnosko lemma.
okay.
And then over on the right, open up a Bible word study.
Yep, that's where the pie chart thing is.
That's where the circle the color wheel.
The color wheel, yep.
Okay. So now that you have your color wheel open in the Greek New Testament SBL edition, is it highlighting the Greek word there?
No.
Okay, so under visual filters, let's see here.
Oh, that's the 3-dot thing.
Yes.
Okay. Corresponding search. Go ahead.
Emphasize active lemmas. Is that selected or unselected?
Yeah, I don't see it. Let me go back to your screen. Where are you at? Your
So under resource, address labels, Bible text, community tags, corresponding search results, corresponding selection, corresponding words. Do you have all those, or are you missing some of those? Discourse
yeah.
features Greek, and then emphasize active lemmas.
I don't think I have some of that.
Okay.
Yeah, let me go back to your screen. You got, is that the high? Yes, it's a sub item. It's a resource. Okay.
Yep.
So it's within the resource.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think within my resource,
Okay.
I have addressee labels, Bible text only, community tags, corresponding search results, corresponding selection, corresponding words, speaker labels, and timeline events.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you got one I don't have. Timeline events. Okay.
Huh.
I wonder why I don't have that. All right.
You'll be
Okay.
calling me more, won't you?
Timeline events. And emphasize active lemmas.
Okay, I got a question about a search.
Uh-huh.
Can you search for co-located words? In other words, if you wanted to find every time gnosis was used with the aorist infinitive of gnosko,
Uh-huh.
did you search for that?
Yep.
Did you search for every time epignosis was used with the aorist infinitive of gnosko? I mean, could you get a list of those from your?
Sure.
Okay. How would
Yep.
you do it?
All right. So which one do you want to start with?
Well, just start with gnosis.
Okay, start with gnosis.
You want to search for when gnosis shows up with gnosko in the infinitive.
Okay, so gnosis is the noun, gnosko is the verb as an infinitive.
Right.
You want both of those in the same verse or nearby each other?
Yeah, co-locate. I mean, we're really gnosis is the object of gnosko.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to start right here with my gnosis. I'm going to start with a lemma of gnosis.
Right. You can find all of those, but can you search for the co-location of the other word? That's the question.
Yes. So gnosis and gnosko. I got it. So see, I'm doing this the complicated way.
Well, that's fine.
What am I doing wrong?
Because it'd be interesting to know whenever gnosis was used with gnosko and when epignosis was used with gnosko, because or just not know how to do that, because that was a big deal in linguistics, was co-locations. I mean, what words were co-located with other words?
Right. So I just searched for gnosis and gnosko, and Ephesians 3:19 is the only verse that has both of them in the same verse.
Okay, and they're not related, because to know the love of Christ, the object of
The object of,
gnosis is agape, I guess. I
right.
guess that would be agape,
Yep.
which surpasses knowledge.
Yep.
So you would think that epignosis, or gnosis or epignosis would be the object of gnosko, to know, knowledge. But I guess
I wouldn't
it's
really
still
think
new.
that. Yeah. I wouldn't really take that as an object. I would expect that in Hebrew. I would expect a cognate noun to go with a verb in Hebrew. But I don't know that I would expect gnosis to be the object of gnosko.
Well, I was just thinking, that was just an example I thought of. What I was really asking is, can you use this to search for co-located words?
Right. So,
Maybe
okay.
that's an example.
Yeah. So if you open up your sidebar in your search window, you're going to see a lot of templates. So here is this top one where you want both terms, this and that. Two
Okay.
words, a word and a phrase, two phrases. Okay, so you want Jesus and Christ. And so you can search for that. Okay, all the verses that have both Jesus and Christ.
So it doesn't tell you that the two words are in tandem to each other, but that they're both in the same verse.
Right. That's with the and operator. And you see up here, this is Jesus and Christ. Okay, which can come in either order as long as both words are in the verse. Now, the next template has either Jesus or Christ.
Okay.
And so again, Jesus, Christ, and this is searching for Jesus or Christ. And so now we got 1,500 results. I mean, that's a whole lot more. It can have either word or both and give you the result. Yeah, these search templates are very, very useful. So the and operator, the or operator, you can have more than two if you want all of the terms. An article that has Lord Jesus Christ, and I want a verse that has all of these words. So this is Lord and Jesus and Christ. That's the search criteria. And you can do this without using a search template if you just know what the operators are. You want to make sure you put your operator in capital letters, otherwise you're searching for the word and there's a lot of ands in the New Testament, okay? A lot of ands in the Bible. So all of the terms, any of the terms, this but not that, this is a good template. I want words that have Jesus but don't have the word Christ. So this is Jesus and not Christ. So there's 743 results there in 716 verses that have the word Jesus but don't have the word Christ. So that's this and not that. You can also determine the order, this before that. Let's say if I want to have Christ appear before the word Jesus. So there's 91 verses where the word Christ appears before the word Jesus appears. Yeah, you're going to find these are very useful templates here. And then after you get comfortable using them, then you'll just start typing your own search operators up there in the query window. So this before that, this after that, 3 in this order. you want to find where the speaker is Peter and the word is love. And there's the 3 verses there in John chapter 21. And I don't know if you saw that, but this is pretty neat because Simon Peter is way up here. The word Peter is way up here. Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? He said to him, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Well, the search result is right here because this is the use of love where Peter is the speaker, not this one. Up here, it's the word love, all right, but Jesus is the speaker. Down here, Peter is the speaker. So when you're searching for who the speaker is and who's being addressed and what words are being used, these templates here are a lot of fun. Also, the New Testament use of the Old Testament. Old Testament passage used by New Testament author. So where is Psalm 22? Where is Psalm 22 used in the New Testament? You can search for things like that. John 19:24 and Hebrews 2:12. That's a nice template. And then the original language templates that are right there. Greek root word, Greek word translated as, Greek word not translated as. Yeah, start playing with those templates. I think you'll like them a lot. Glad we got to that. What else is on your mind tonight? Do you remember how to find the search templates? Open up a search window. Make sure you got Bible search selected. Open up your sidebar. This is the thing here that toggles on and off. Open and close the sidebar. And inside the search window sidebar are your search templates. You also have some good helps right there too. All right, what else? Carl, you got anything else? Did I lose you?
No, I'm here. There was a couple minutes ago where the connection got flaky, but yeah. So I guess the reason why I brought up that Gnosko example and the Micah 2:11 example, and I don't know if this is something that using Logos in and of itself would be able to answer, but so in that passage, when it uses that word gnosko, but it's for disciples, I thought, well, how come it's not epignosko? And then I thought, well, maybe they have to first gnosko it, and then the last part of that is the result. The making free is the result of epignosko. So epignosko is not mentioned, but it kind of is because the setting free is when it becomes epignosis. That's just kind of my guess. So I'm not.
Yeah, we can consider that as a possibility, but why questions don't always have answers because he used the word gnosko. So if you abide in my word, you're truly disciples of mine, and you will gnosko. You will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. So why is that gnosko and not epignosko?
Right.
Or why is it not oida? Why is it not? There's plenty of other words for no. We may not be able to answer the why question.
Well, wasn't those two words, gnosko and epignosko, don't we make more out of it than maybe the original writers did? They kind of used them interchangeably.
I suspect there was a lot of interchangeability in the New Testament era. Correct.
Okay.
That's my suspicion. So that's probably a good I don't know what lexicons you have available to you, but there's a good one that shows the various eras. Let me come back here to Gnosko. So when I'm looking at my eras here, starting with, of course, BDAG, Strong's. This one's called Kittel, the Theological Dictionary of the New Testament. And this is a marvelous one. And if you don't have it, this might be one to keep an eye out for because it comes on sale every now and then. But this is an article, and it covers Gnosko, Gnosis, Epignosko, Epignosis, Katagnosko. I mean, you see it's got a dozen terms there that it's going through. And it starts here with gnosis and epignosis and the verb forms. And it starts running you through the history, starting here with point A, the Greek usage. And this would be the classical Greek, the secular Greek, the pre-Septuagint Greek, okay? And then there's a lot there. There's a ton of information there. And as you read through, not only do you have the Greek usage, but now you've got the Gnostic usage. You might imagine for the Gnostics, this verb was a big deal, okay? And so there's tremendous material here that's been written up on gnosis and epignosis and so forth. Again, tons to read. And then we get to the Old Testament usage. This is where the Septuagint is translating the Hebrew text. And more paragraphs, more pages to be reading to see how did the Septuagint use, did it conform to previous secular usage or did it start to change? Was it affected by the Hebrew sense more so than it was the secular sense? All right. After the Septuagint usage, now we're going to have additional Jewish usage. This would include Philo and Josephus, but this would also include other Jewish writings after the Septuagint and before the New Testament era. And so notice, again, paragraph after paragraph after paragraph, there's Philo mentioned there. Then the early Christian usage, popular usage, Old Testament and Jewish usage, and how it influenced the Christian usage. Pages after pages after pages. Let's see. I'll have to go to the top of the article to see how many pages this is altogether. Influences of the Gnostic usage. Did Gnostic usage influence early Christianity, or did early Christianity influence the Gnostic usage of this term? And I think people will make arguments both directions. I think they both influenced each other to whatever extent, because that's how language works. Late development of the usage. The works of the apologists yield nothing distinctive. Okay. All right, so that gets us down through the end of gnosis and epignosis. Now it's going to go on to some of the other compounds and so forth. I mean, you just notice how many pages is this? This is a ton of material, and it may be overkill. It may be more than what you're going to digest and process. But just covering this, getting us down to page 715, when we started on page 689. So we just read 26 pages. We didn't read, but we skimmed through 26 pages of Kittel, and all we did was get through these first 4 terms in the root, in the root word study that's being addressed there. So anyway, that's just kind of part of the process of what you got to do. Now, not everything is as exhaustive as Kittel. You might find something useful like, let me find some other ones here that have, yeah, the NIDNTT, this one by Colin Brown. This one also does a historical survey, but and I think it's more concise and it's more readable. I think it's I don't know, more attuned to our theology maybe. Anyway, this is a marvelous set. This is this set right here that I've had on my shelf for a decade or longer, and they just got it in Logos not too long ago. So I'm happy to have it in Logos now. But again, you're going to walk through how is it used in secular Greek? How is it used in the Septuagint? How is it used by Philo and Josephus? How is it used in the New Testament? And if we find that maybe early on, there was a huge distinction to be made between gnosis and epignosis, but then later, the terms really started to be used interchangeably. The terms really started to be used without, more of a nuance than a distinction. That would be important to know. And it would not shock me either, by the way. I found a ton of things in 26 years of ministry that I remember Colonel Thiem used to really, pound his fist and make a huge point about. And then I started to study and say, no, I'm not sure I can defend that. I'm not sure that's really can I have a mechanical process to take me from gnosis to epignosis to oida to Sophia? Is it always spelled out that way? And I don't think the New Testament sustains that. So that might be a very long answer to a very short question, but I'm glad we're talking about it because these are the kind of things I think a lot of times Christians get the idea that Greek is a code, and if you just learn the Greek, you can break any code and it answers everything. It really doesn't. Meanings are determined by context, and that's true of any language. So yes, you learn the language, but then you start to learn. The more you learn, the more you realize there's a legitimate room for a lot of academic humility to be more relaxed about why some people make the interpretive choices that they make in different ways. Anyway, so hunt through your lexicons and see which ones tend to give you more of the historical survey, and I think you'll benefit from that. Which in this lemma window here, which lexicons do you have up there at the top for Gnosko?
I have PLGNT. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we don't have any regular.
And when you open it up, what does that tell you that it is?
I'll click on it. It took me to somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
A pocket lexicon to the Greek New Testament by Alexander Suter, Magdalen College, Oxford, 1917.
There it is, Alexander Suter. Okay. Okay, yeah. So I mean, this just gives you Gnosko and just gives you a little, basically a gloss. It's called a gloss. It's not a full definition, but it's a gloss, and gives you a couple of examples, not really anything even exhaustive. All right.
We've got some print books upstairs that we just recently acquired, so I might have some other lexicons up there.
Okay.
So, but yeah, no, that even though the answer was long, it was a very good and effective answer. It helped bring some clarity to that question. Yeah, you guys are right, because I, for years, have heard that distinction between gnosis and epignosis, and so that John 8:31-32 passage, that use of gnosko for a discipling passage, that kind of threw me. So I thought, well, that might be a good idea to dig into that as an example word study for our Logos.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then
No, I'm glad you did. Yep,
yeah.
I'm glad you did. I'm going to see too about, well, I've got you guys here. I want to see about let me open up a window. Go to Logos, find out what kind of oh, not Facebook, Logos. There we go. See what kind of Greek lexicons. All right, so, oh, and this isn't going to do me any good because the ones that I own aren't going to show prices. All right, then let's pretend it's not me. Let's log out of Logos, or just open a, there we go. This way Logos won't know it's me. Greek lexicon. All right, featured results. So yeah, BDAG, 150 bucks. I tell you, it's worth every penny. Let's just see what. All right, so now they're sorted by price, lowest first. Well, yeah, there's some pretty interesting lexicons here. There's the pocket lexicon, it's a $10 lexicon. Bloomfield. Abbott Smith is only $13. Thayer's is only 15. That's a good one. Milligan, Moulton and Milligan for 15. But honestly, if you're going to want to have a collection of lexicons too, it might be worthwhile looking at your base packages and comparing them. Specifically focusing in.
I found on the web. According to talkvietnam.com,
Stop.
the base packages, while largely similar, do have some major differences, namely that ABC and Disney own channels, including ESPN, and therefore support for ESPN Plus, are only present in orange, while blue carries NBC, Fox,
How do I
and
turn
other
this off?
sports channels like NFL Network and NFL Red Zone. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Thanks for your feedback.
Why did that happen? All right.
Listed in every word you say.
Yeah, I'm telling you. All right. This thing's been a curse ever since my dad died and I took custody of it. All right. What was I looking for? Base packages. And I want to search for, I want to compare the lexicons. So if we compare bronze, silver, and gold, I think with bronze, you're going to be happy. So let's just compare those. You know, if you decide that this is something over the next 5 years that you want to invest in, you want to spend 500 bucks or 800 bucks or 1,200 bucks. And we're just going to be looking for, here we go, Greek grammars, lexicons, and tools. All right, so, all right. Bronze and silver won't give you those, but now once you get up to gold, you start getting some of these other ones, including A.T. Robertson, including, there's this Celsus Speak. Yep, that's a good one. Swanson, okay. So that's at the gold level. I better go back and add some more. Let's take off silver and bronze and see what happens with platinum diamond portfolio. Lexicons. Okay, you see where the big jump is. Getting higher than gold, going up to platinum. Look at all these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you're adding 9 lexicons there. Including, there's your Kittle, here's your Liddell and Scott, Metzger. All right. And notice none of these are BDAG. There you go, you finally get BDAG. That $150 one, you finally get it up here at the diamond level. Moulton Howard Turner. Okay, well good, I'm glad we looked at this. Because you're not the only one with that question. Jeremiah was asking. I think there's going to be some other folks asking too. All right. What else? Anything else? Ed, you got anything?
No, I'm good, Bob.
All right. We don't have to go to 8:30. We can stop now if you guys are tired.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
get close to bedtime. Yeah, you
I mean,
but I'm serious.
All right. Carl, what about you? You got some more?
so I guess I was just trying to think, you know, because I'm new to the Logos. So being new, I guess you don't know what you don't know. So there's obviously a lot of ways to use it that I'm not aware of. So right now I'm kind of limited to, well, for instance, like this recent example about knowing,
Mm-hmm.
looking that up and thinking, oh, it's gnosko, and I thought, well, gnosko is, and I explained all that earlier. And so with the Micah 2:11 passage, you know, the speaking out concerning,
Right.
and I thought, well, because I had seen speaking out, and it was usually speaking out against, and this is speaking out concerning, because I think a little earlier, I don't know if it's in the same chapter or the one before, and then I looked up the phrase speak out, you know, where it occurred in the Old Testament. And I was just trying to do sort of a search on the phrase speak out and concerning, because, and I heard the different commentaries that they all seem consistent with each other. And I understand where they're coming from, that basically they were saying that if a prophet were to speak out, I guess in support of wine or liquor, then he would be spokesman for the people. But the other examples where I seem to see speaking out concerning or speaking out against something, it was against something. And so when I saw that, I thought, oh, well, that's low hanging fruit. In other words, they can get on the bandwagon behind wine and liquor so long as a prophet doesn't address anything that they really need to be addressed on, maybe pride, maybe ritual without reality, lip service, maybe, you know, all that kind of churchianity, religiosity kind of stuff. Is like, oh, we don't want a pastor that speaks against that. But if prophet speaks against wine and liquor, we can get behind that. You know, that's low hanging fruit we can all rally against.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah.
I didn't hear any commentaries that went that angle, and I thought, well, maybe I just don't understand it right. And then, but I'm kind of limited on my ability to do a phrase study, a word study, and I thought, well, Logos may be a great tool to dig into that a little bit.
It can be, yeah. It just depends on which commentaries you're reading, or which, you know, some commentaries are better than others at specifically bringing out elements of the grammar. And that's where what I really stress is, and that's why you want to have a sufficient grasp of the languages so that you can have discernment. If somebody's trying to sell you something based on a claim from the languages, you want to be able to really read it and say, really, you know, is it that strong of a case? Or if you read two different commentaries and they contradict each other, you know, A.T. Robertson says this, but we says that. And so you've got to be able to kind of read it for yourself and try to weigh, which argument has the most weight in your mind. And so, and you really have to be fair. You have to be academically fair to the text itself. Don't just grab the commentator that agrees with you or the one that you like what it says, so you go with what you like. But you really have to be able to weigh the argumentation, and are they building a solid case, or do they have holes in the case that they're presenting there? So that's and that just requires years and years in the languages, and saturating your soul with all these passages, for the rest of your life. Nothing quick and dirty about it, or quick and easy. And I think
Right.
with this verb too, I think for flowing or dripping water or other things, but then depending on, obviously in a speaking context, it's speaking rather than flowing, but then also you want to be paying attention to your prepositions if you're speaking for something or against something. And a lot of times it's just the preposition that highlights that it's against. So there's the not, and then if they're speaking against something, like speak out against the South. So the verb itself doesn't mean favorably or hostile, it just is speaking out. The preposition tells you that it's against the South. So a lot of times you're not really looking at the verb in that case, you're looking at the prepositions, you're looking at the other expressions that surround that verb. Good questions though, appreciate it.
Right, and that's part of why I asked. And like you said, it's nothing you can do. It's not a quick and easy. And so I guess that just, I guess without obviously all the training and the experience and the knowledge and the decades under somebody's belt, I guess they're just going to be limited on how much they can do in Logos. And just like you said.
Yeah, but don't minimize that. Yes, it is limited, but even with that limitation, it's awesome. Okay, it's far more than scholars were able to do a generation ago. And so, I mean, just being able to select the lemma and then show you all the Bible verses where that lemma is found. There's your 18 verses, and being able to read through those verses, even sending these search results to an inline search, so that you got a Bible that is nothing but those verses now, and you can be reading through. I mean, this would take minutes or hours a generation ago, because you'd have to go and find an exhaustive concordance of a Hebrew text, and search for this lemma in that exhaustive concordance. And then that would give you a list of verses. Then you'd have to go and actually find all those verses and write them down. So this really streamlines that research. So it is limited, but within the context of those limitations, it is awesome. It is amazing to be able to find all those places.
Yeah, you mean I'm limited because of my experience. Like the tool, I think you said that has more features and capabilities than we'll end up using in this lifetime or before the rapture, or you said something along those lines.
Oh yeah, I've been using this tool for at least, let's see, I've been married 30 years. I think Alethea is turning 27 this week. So I got it just a month before she was born. So I've been using this tool for 27 years. And I'm sure there's features I don't use well, or I don't use at all, or features I don't even know about. So that's why I subscribe to Morris Proctor seminars. That's why I take the tutorials that he puts out and learn something new every time I watch Morris. Have you worked your way through that quick start guide, that selection of 20 videos there?
Almost all of them. I've got a few left to do still.
Okay, yeah,
I got to watch a couple of them twice.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I recommend those. So, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate it. Keep your armor on.